How you doing? Gary Casper. This is our day 2 on our gluten-free flour bake. We're using our flour number 2, which we'll tell you what it is later. Boy, I don't know whether it was the gluten-free pizza I had the other day or long sleeve shirt or the oven on. It's just getting hot in here today. Excuse me a second. Oh, jeez. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, now we'll get back to business here. About that, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity. So, anyway, here we go, back with our second gluten-free flour today for our pizza Neapolitan style. Here's flour number 2, about 30 minutes rise. It's just about doubled in size, and we'll just kind of check it and see what we got going on here. I'm going to reblend this a little bit so that any lumps that were in it originally will be mixed through the dough, but it feels pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to let that go as is. That's about the right consistency we're looking for. It is quite wet, but we'll be able to work with this. Okay, so we'll put this back on. Let this just rest for maybe about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll start working with it. This has risen very nicely, actually. We want to be a little bit gentle with it as we take it out of the bowl. I'd like to maybe sprinkle a little bit of flour on top of the dough. And then using our same gluten-free flour that's in the pizza dough, we'll put that on the rolling board and just gently try to just lay this out on top of there. And this is, see, I would say this is about the consistency of whipped egg whites, so very, very delicate. So we'll just dust our hands, dust the top of the dough a little bit, and like we did on the other ones, we'll just start patting this down, shaping as we go. And this is actually holding the gases quite nicely, but we're going to spread it out to about 13, 14 inches for our pizza. A little extra flour in the hands if you need it. And just be gentle with it and just press it out. And again, when you get out to around 10 inches, 8 or 10 inches, it's a good idea to maybe take your super peel, sprinkle it with a little bit of your gluten-free flour, and use this just to lift up and reset your dough. Put a little extra flour underneath if it needs it. This way you be sure that you're not sticking as you go along. And just re-sprinkle lightly. And it's also possible sometimes a little bit, since it's very wet, a little bit of your dough may stick to the peel. If it does, just take your bench scraper and just scrape that off, and it'll be fine to go on from there. And then we'll just roll it out from the center, very, very light pressure, and get it out to our approximately 14-inch pie. Okay, we let this rest for about 20 minutes, and we'll uncover it and finish this off and go to the oven. First thing we're going to do, same for every pie we're doing here, is just put a little San Marzano crushed tomatoes, of course kosher salt, some nice fresh crushed black pepper. Okay, so we'll drizzle this again with using our silicone pastry brush with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And then we're ready to go. So off to the oven. Here we go. Preheat it to 550. We've got our 2 baking stones set up, and we're going to use our super peel just to set this pie right easily, gently, right between these 2 stones. And there you go. Very simple. We've been in the oven for, this is our flour number 2, just about 6 minutes. You can see it's browning on the bottom. The top is just starting to brown slightly. So we're going to quick decorate this a little bit with our fresh basil. Just a little bit of extra drizzle of olive oil. Okay, we're going back in the oven for another 45 seconds and we'll be done. And it's just starting to wilt down just perfectly. So, as we've done with all our pizzas, we'll take them out and let them rest for about 10 minutes on the cooling rack before we cut into this. I'll give you a look at the bottom here when it cools down just a little bit. Here's a look at the bottom of this crust, pizza number 2, flour number 2. See that it's got pretty nice browning on it. Okay, here's pizza number 2. We're zooming in for see how crispy the bottom is. It's not bad. It's got a little bit of crispness to it. We'll also turn it. We'll have a look at the dough in the center of the pizza and how it's turned out. You can see that the crust is actually puffed up really nicely on around the edge, and in the center in spots too. You got some nice bubbles going on in there, and pretty nice structure. It looks pretty good. So the proof will be in the tasting, though. A very nice crust. Flavor's good. On we go to number 3.